Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn Economia. In this video, I'll be covering a new concept, that is market mechanism. So this is actually a very simple concept. I know this is the basis of economics. It is very much basic, but I have got certain requests regarding this particular concept. I mean, there were many requests telling me to put a video on this concept, so that is the main reason I have put this video. So let's get started. Uh, so let's understand what is market mechanism. When it comes to the arena of economics, market mechanism is considered to be a phenomenon or a mechanism or an agreement or uh, mechanism by which we use money so as to trade off in the market to optimize the distribution of goods and services. So here what we have to understand is that there exists interaction between both buyers and sellers. Buyers and sellers involved in the market, they use money, and money has got some value, and with this money exchange of goods and services takes place. So actually it is not exchange but a transaction of money and distribution of goods and service takes place. So this is the basis of market mechanism, and it is very important to note that in different types of market mechanism exist. If you consider in the case of free market, then there exists the market forces of demand and supply, which determines how the market mechanism should be. In a free market economy, all the resources, we know that all the resources are allocated to the private sector, whereas in the case of planned economy, all the resources are owned by the public sector or the government. Whereas in the case of mixed economy, which is a combination of both private-public partnership, some resources are owned by the government, whereas some resources are owned by the public. And we all know that in the reality, what we have is the combination of both private and public. That is what we have is a mixed economy. Now, resources are freely allocated in a free market economy, and it is the forces of supply and demand, which are the market forces, which rule the market mechanism in the free market economy. Now, to understand how market mechanism works, it's very important to understand the law of demand. Here also, I know that it is a very much basics, and anyway, this particular aspect has to be very much clear for you. Then only you could be able to understand the full of microeconomics. So let's deal with the law of demand first. Then law of demand, as we all know, it states that ceteris paribus assumption being there, the price and quantity demanded of any particular good or service are inversely related to each other, and its price are inversely related to each other. So the price and quantity demanded are having an inverse or indirect relationship. So this is what is told by law of demand, keeping the ceteris paribus assumption, or holding the ceteris paribus assumption. Now, in simple words, we could see that as price increases, the demand for a particular commodity would fall. So as a result, we would get a negatively sloped line by plotting different points of price quantity demanded combination, which is known as the demand curve, which is the graphical representation of law of demand. Now, in the diagram, actually the demand curve is downward sloping, and when price increases from one point to another, quantity demanded comes down, and vice versa. And the quantity of a commodity demanded depends upon the price of the commodity, and we all know that there have been many other factors which influence the quantity demanded of a commodity, but all these things are kept as constant, or we are taking into account the ceteris paribus assumption by holding that all the other factors except the price of the commodity which affect the quantity demand of the commodity as constant. That is our assumption here. Now the price quantity combination is plotted on a curve which is known as the demand curve, where we measured quantity demanded on the x-axis and the price on the vertical axis or y-axis. And the curve is almost, it is mostly downward sloping, reflecting the willingness of the consumers to purchase more of a commodity when the price of the commodity comes down, and the consumers also have a tendency to purchase more of a commodity when more of the commodity when the price comes down, and less of a commodity when the price goes up. Okay, now any change in the non-price factors would cause a shift in the demand. So this aspect is also very much basic, and whenever there is a change in the price of a commodity, there would be movement along the demand curve, and whenever there is a change in the non-price factors or the factors apart from the price of the own commodity, then there would be a shift in the demand curve. Now coming to the case of supply, which we know as the other side of the coin, and here also we have a law which is known as the law of supply. Here also the ceteris paribus assumption holds. Law of supply says that keeping the ceteris paribus assumption active, the price and the quantity supplied of a commodity are directly related to each other. We could see that when the price paid by buyers for a commodity rises, when this happens, suppliers increase the supply of that good in the market. So this is out of the expectation of getting more profit from the market. So this is why suppliers increase the quantity or the amount sold in the market whenever they see that there is an increase in the price in the market. So as a result, what we could see is that by plotting different price quantity supplied combination, we will be getting a positively sloped curve, which is known as the supply curve, which is a graphical representation of law of supply. We know that there have been many other factors which influence the law of supply apart from the price of the commodity, whenever there is a change in all these factors apart from the price of the commodity, this will lead to the shift in the supply curve. Whereas if the price of the commodity changes, then it will be showing its impact upon the supply curve. The same supply curve will be moving either upward or downward. So whenever there is a change in the price of the own commodity, this is indicated by the movement along the supply curve. Sometimes it will be going up, whereas in the case of other times it will be going down. Now, so this is the main crux of our topic of today's video. Demand-supply interaction. It is very important to understand how demand and supply interact and what will have its implication upon the market. We have already talked in the beginning about the market mechanism. So actually this is the market mechanism. In order to understand how the market mechanism works, it's very important to understand demand and supply separately, and then it is important to understand how demand and supply interact in the market. As we have already understood, demand and supply are considered to be the market forces, whereas where the case of where demand shows a portion of the consumers, whereas in the case of supply it actually shows that part of producers. Okay, demand shows how much quantity of a commodity that a person or a consumer wish to buy in the market, whereas in the case of supply it shows how much quantity of a commodity that the producers are willing to sell at various prices in the market. Now here in the case of price determination or market mechanism, what we could see is that both demand and supply interact in the market, and the meeting point of the demand curve and supply curve is known as the equilibrium point. At equilibrium point we can determine two things. First is we can determine the equilibrium quantity, and we can also determine the equilibrium price. Here in this figure we could see that Q1 is the corresponding point of equilibrium quantity, and P1 is a corresponding point of equilibrium price. And equilibrium is also shown in the figure, where the orange spot is known as the equilibrium point, where the demand curve and supply curve intersect. Okay, so with that we end today's basic thing about the interaction of demand and supply, but it is very much important to understand more about the price mechanism in the market, how price mechanism works and all. We have to understand that the interaction of the buyers and sellers in the free market enables goods and services and resources to be allocated at different prices. And in this case, we have to understand the case of relative price, changes in price, and all, because these all things reflect the force of demand and supply and help to solve the problem in the economy, which we consider as very much important or the central to the functioning of economy. Now resources actually move towards where they are in the shortest supply relative to demand and away from where they are least demand. Now it's very important to understand how this demand supply works and all, but here we have categorized these into different heads. First of all, we will discuss the rationing function of the price mechanism, how price mechanism does the rationing function. Here it says that whenever resources are particularly scarce and demand exceeds supply and the prices are driven up, that is when your demand is more and supply is less, what happens is that there will be this kind of market mechanism will drive the price up, and the effect of such a price is to discourage demand, conserve resources and spread out the overuse of the commodity. And the greater is when the scarcity is very much, the higher the price and the more the resources is rationed. And in the case of oil market and all, we can see this. We know that there will be more demand for oil, but the product availability is very less. As a result, we could see the skyrocketing movement of oil prices, and this kind of increase in price is actually something that is considered to be a step to discourage demand, and which leads to the conservation of oil, so that we can go for sustainable development. That is, we won't overconsume the oil which is meant to be conserved for future generation. And the rationing function of a price rise is associated with contraction of demand along the demand. The next function is that the signaling function of price mechanism. Here price changes send contrasting messages to consumers and producers about whether to enter the market or whether to leave the market. When the rising prices give signal to consumers to reduce the demand or to withdraw from the market completely, and they have a signal to signal potential producers to enter a market. Conversely, falling prices actually gives a positive message to consumers to enter a market, while sending a negative signal to producers to leave the market. Because in this case, when the price is rising, then consumers will be profiting out of cheap products. When the price is less, what happens is that potential producers would not, they will get a signal regarding the market condition. Both the producers and producers and buyers will get a clue regarding the market movement when they see that whether the price is moving up or price is moving down, and they will act accordingly. Both the producers and consumers would act accordingly so as to increase their profit share or utility share. Now in this example, in this scenario, we could take the case of an example, that is a rise in the market price of smartphone. This actually sends a signal to potential manufacturers to enter the market and perhaps leave other one. And similarly, the provision of healthcare, this would give a signal to consumers that they can pay a visit to the doctor for any minor ailment, while potentially the private healthcare providers will be deterred from entering the market. In terms of the labor market, a rise in the wage rate, which is considered to be the price of the wage labor, and this will provide a signal to the unemployed people so that they would join the labor market. And the signaling function is associated with the shift in the demand and supply curve. Now, another function is that the incentive function. Price mechanism also does this function very well. An incentive is something that motivates a producer or consumers to follow the course of action or to change the behavior. That is, if the producer is actually planning to leave the market or planning to join the market, then he will join as a result of this incentive. And if the consumer is planning to leave the market, or the consumer is planning to enter the market, then this kind of incentive will incentivize the people either to join or to leave the market depending upon the market situation. Now, higher prices provide an incentive to to the existing producers to supply more, because they provide the possibility or more revenue and increased profit. So in this case, not only existing producers would supply more, but also new entrants would be there, new producers would be entering the market. Now, the incentive function of a price rise is associated with an extension of supply along with the existing supply curve. With that we end. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe.